Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan and this is The Walking Arm. Big things going on this weekend, but first we gotta do chores. Feed cows, then we gotta run into town. Stick with me. Cows are fed. Water's good. Okay. So, as you can see, my beloved Rosie is home. $2,000 and 10 days later, I have a functioning 10-year-old truck. Adulting. We're gonna implement a rotational grazing plan. And you may ask, well, what's that, Ryan? Or maybe you're an old pro and you already know what that is. And you're looking at this going, hey, idiot, why aren't you doing that now? It's a fantastic question. I hadn't been doing it because, well, frankly, I was trying to come up with the perfect plan. I forgot rule number one. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. The best plan is the plan you got. And so what I've been doing is I've been following this old boy by the name of Greg Judy. Now he's kind of a guru in the world of the regenerative farming stuff, and he does lots of really cool stuff. The dude got started ranching with other people's cows and other people's money and did very well at it. To me, that's pretty cool. So, what does he know about grazing? Well, he understands easy ways to get the most out of your pasture and actually end up improving the health of the pasture to where it minimizes, it can increase multiple things. It can increase your stocking rates. You can decrease your inputs such as hay and cube. Also minimize all of your vaccinations and worming. I mean, the guy's got some really cool ideas, and I think I want to start following them. So, first thing we're doing, I just fed the cows the last of the cube. So I'm gonna go get more cube, and then we gotta run into the hardware store. That was Boyd Feed. Love that place. Old school feed store. They got it all, man. Price is right. Not sponsored. Just a cool place to go. And we're back. Okay, we're back in the shop. It's time to get to work. So yesterday, the last thing that you saw was I was running all over creation trying to find the pieces that I need. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be using, it's called braided polywire. It's this stuff. All right. Now what you've got is you have 9 metal filaments braided into polyethylene rope. It's like 6 steel, 3 copper. It's very conductive. It's hot wire, but a better form of hot wire. This stuff, it stretches a little bit, so even if a cow bumps it, I don't have to worry about them breaking it like I would tensile wire. Some people like it, some people don't. I prefer this stuff because it's super cheap and super easy to deal with. So what we ended up getting yesterday, so as you've seen in the past, I've got a 5-strand barbed wire fence out here. It's a very good fence, but we're gonna improve on the pasture. So what I've got is, I've got these things. You'll see, they will actually clip to the back of my T-posts. So I have a bunch of fiber rods, and I will be using a couple of them out here in this pasture to hold up this poly wire. But these are gonna run my perimeter wire. You say perimeter wire, what does that mean? Let me show you what we're actually gonna do here. So here's the pasture. All right, it's 6 acres, like I wrote up right there. Look at that. Okay. I have a gate right here. I have a gate up here. And I have a water point right here. Okay. Cows need water. So what we're gonna do is this is gonna get divided up into 6 different paddocks. Red is hot. So I'm gonna take a wire and I'm gonna run it 10 inches inside of my barbed wire fence. Okay? That is my power wire. By doing this, I now have power all the way around my pasture, which means I can put poly rope anywhere I want to put it in the pasture. I don't have to think about it. It's as long as that wire is touching the other hot wire, we're good to go. So this fence will end up being blocked off, but like I said, it's poly wire and I don't use that fence very much. That just goes to an easement across my neighbor's back pasture. Hadn't used it yet. I have to rock it before I can use it, so I'll get there. So what I want is I want to give, we're coming into spring, I want to give every acre, because I'm going to divide this up into 6 paddocks, every acre 6 weeks to grow and basically remain unmolested by the cattle. What that should allow is for the plants to get nice and tall and healthy. Then I will graze them for 1 week on each acre. My hope is to take about 1/3 of that plant off. That way there's still a nice big tall something to grow against. They're gonna sit there and they're gonna bite, they're gonna chew, they're gonna rip, they're gonna stomp, they're gonna poop, they're gonna pee. All that stuff is part of the natural process and will actually end up helping the pasture. So I'm gonna take 1 hot wire here and I'm gonna run it like this. That is 1 acre, okay? They're gonna remain on that acre 1 week. After that week, I'm gonna take another wire, go up here. We're gonna go here. I'm gonna remove this wire. And I'm gonna add 1 more. So they still have access to their water. Now you may be sitting here thinking, well, won't they just come back onto the acre that you don't want them eating on? They shouldn't. So when they stomp and they poop and they pee and they all this other stuff, they don't necessarily want to go back and eat on top of that. So they're gonna move forward. If they do start coming back, it's no big deal. Boom. Run another hot wire. Now my pasture right now is not healthy enough or grown enough to support them as grass fed. So I'm gonna be bringing in my hay. So right now, their bale ring is right here. Water here, they've got a mineral block somewhere over here, and another protein mineral block over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the tractor and push this in here. I'm gonna take their other mineral block, put it here. I'm gonna take the other one and probably put it somewhere here. But Ryan, pushing that bale ring is gonna spill hay everywhere. Yep. You know what that bale ring is? Fertilized Bermuda. Inside that fertilized Bermuda is seed. I'll also continue to cube. That will hopefully will lighten the pressure on the land. And hopefully in time, I end up with more grass, better grass, and fewer inputs into the cattle. Okay, step 1. I need to measure the pasture. I've got a rough idea how long it is, but I just want to double check. So I've got this really neat little construction wheel. I think they're 15 bucks. And what this is going to do is kind of help me decide how what half the pasture looks like. So let's start walking. Yeehaw. I'm like the Pied Piper over here. Cows. Apologies for the wind. I'm standing in a field. As it turns out, 284 feet is just on the other side of my gate. Go team. Now we're gonna go and measure our way across. Let's do it. All right, so I've measured across, and 1/3 of my distance across is 138 feet. So now I know where to put my first stake. All right, let's do this. Hey, I gotta tell you, that's a whole lot of roads that have been moving across that pasture that fast. I don't care how tame your cows are, make sure you're watching them, because they may not mean to get you, but if they get you, you're got support. So now we're gonna run down this line, and we're gonna put my little stickers that I've got in that bag right there on the fence posts all the way around the pasture. This won't take forever, so see you in a bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one other thing. You want this to be about 30 inches high. Okay, so we got all our little yellow stickers hung off the fence. Now in the back, that's actually not my fence, it's my neighbor. And I gotta tell you, super cool guy. You always, if it's not your fence, you always wanna call somebody or try to track down the owner of the fence. People get kind of squirrely about you hanging stuff, even if it's on the back side of their fence. Always better to ask. You'll make a good neighbor. Maybe you'll meet the guy next door. PDO happens to be hell of a guy and was really appreciative of the fact that I called to make sure that he was cool with it. Now, one thing you need to know about this stuff, they sell every attachment known to man. You don't necessarily need them. So one of the things that they sell is this little splice kit where it's just 2 pieces of metal. You put one end over here, one end over here, and it clamps down and you've got a splice. That's really neat. But this stuff, you can tie it in knots and it does the same thing, and that's free. Okay, that took longer than I thought it should have. So I've got all the perimeter wire up. So all this is up. Now, I have tied a little loop on here. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% it's gonna work, but boy, it'd be awful nice if it would. I'm gonna use this to hook my my cross fencing, I guess that's what you'd call it, into. I've got some extra little electric gate clips. You'll see them here in a second, and I'm just gonna hook it right there, and hopefully that works. We'll see. Now, a couple of other things I wanted to call out that I did is, well, check this out. Okay, in the corners, I drove a T-post, and I had these little corner things, and all you do is you just put the wire in and drop that little plug in, and you end up with a nice rounded corner, and you don't have to cut your wire. So apologies for the wind again. It's been windy as heck out here. Shockingly enough, we've got more rain coming. Okay, so now I have the charger, that thingy, hooked up to the perimeter wire. I also have set up my interior posts, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little gadget and I'm going to test it, make sure it's hot. Hopefully I don't shock the piss out of myself. No guarantees. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but all 7 lights are going. You know what that means? That means there are 7,000 volts running through that wire. Don't touch. So now I'm going to turn it off because I will shock myself. I don't feel like peeing my pants today. So now I'm gonna turn it off and see if I can push cows to where I need them and then get fence around them. I don't know, could work. So now comes the part of getting the cows where I want them. That's easy. Cube. Okay. Well, let's see if I can do it this way. All right. Fence is up. Got the perimeter in. Got the paddock in. Got the cows in. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of far away. Fence is hot. Nobody has tested the fence yet. Like I said, these guys have been around hot wire before. So far they hadn't tested it. Now, is this the final solution? Nope. So what I did here was more just me really learning, figuring out exactly the best way to do it in my pasture and the best way to do it. And you're gonna have to do that too. I think what I'll probably do over the coming weeks is I will take, I will set up, I'll go get some T-posts. I've got these little clips that are, I showed them to you, little black clips that just have a post in them. Get a couple of those. I'm gonna get a little bit of gate hardware, electric gate hardware, and I'll show you that when I get it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a length all the way across the middle of the pasture. And then I'm gonna find a way to quick connect and couple these fence rows. This is too time consuming for it to be practical, but I know there's ways to solve it, and realistically it was probably my inexperience that led to the time consuming matter of it. But now that I've got the perimeter wire in, I can start testing and see what works for me. And I hope you do the same thing. If you're doing this or you're trying to figure out the best way to do it, the only way to do it is just to do it. I sat around waiting for the perfect plan. Oh, I only need this one more thing. Go cheap. This fence is basically held together with duct tape and bubble gum, and I couldn't afford the duct tape. But look, cows are in. Step out there, give it a shot, guys. I hope this helped you. I hope the little diagram that I drew out, and I know that my explanation was probably elementary. I could probably go into a little more detail. I get a little frazzled on camera. So I'm gonna drop it right there. There is gonna be another video coming out this week. We're gonna be doing some serious dirt work in the next couple of weeks, and my little tractor, little Johnny, is he's up for some service. Got the stuff in the shop. We're probably gonna go ahead and take care of that this week, because guess what? We got more rain coming. Woo! Gosh, I love rain, but then when you don't have it, I'm gonna be pissed. So take it easy, and we'll see y'all later.